Hey, it's your girl, Yon Slay, and we are back with another episode, or for another episode of IG Lives. IG Lives. IG Lives with Yon Slay. Yon Slay again. IG Lives. IG Lives. IG Lives with Yon Slay. Alrighty, so we are live and ready to go. We are just waiting for our special guest to jump on, and then we will go ahead and get started. Surprise, surprise, yes, we're having an episode on a Friday. Is that a usual thing? Maybe not, but we're here anyway because, we do what it do, okay? So I've had a pretty chill day, thankfully. So I'm really excited about this interview and just excited to get to know Jada a bit better. So I'm super excited to speak with her, get a better understanding of her story, learn more about her and all that type of stuff. So we'll give her a few moments to jump on, and then as soon as she gets in, I'll send that little live invite right quick, and then we'll go ahead and jump into it. But I don't know about you guys, but like I said, I've just been really taking like a break from this whole social media stuff. Like, I know I've been doing IG lives and stuff, but typically, like, I don't even be on social media like that anymore because sometimes I just need a break. And our special guest is here, so let's get into it. Alrighty, let me send her an invite. No, get started. Oh, and she sent me a request too, so I accepted and sent one, so we'll see what's. Oh, hey.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm loving the aesthetic. Come through.
How's your day going? Or how was your day?
It's going well. It was like, thankfully, real chill. And I've been like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have this today. So what about you?
It's been really good. I had to work earlier. Got some Chipotle and I'm just home. So yeah.
Oh, that's what's up. Well, this is a total side note. I've been binge watching Legend of Korra, so I'm like deep into the
Oh,
series right now.
okay.
Completely random. But yeah, it's so great to have you on. We can just go ahead and jump into it. As the guest, I'd like you to have control of the narrative, especially towards the beginning. So if you would, can you please introduce yourself in your own words from your own point of view, and then we'll jump into the interview.
Absolutely. Well, I'll just go ahead and do my Howard intro since I am a student at Howard University. My name is
Okay.
Jada Lockett. I'm a junior human performance major with a concentration in sports medicine and a minor in strategic, legal, and management communications from Jacksonville, Florida.
Come through. So, how are you able to manage school and your volunteer work and your dancing as well? Like, I can imagine that you have a pretty heavy plate. So, how are you managing that?
Absolutely. So, definitely I use my planner a lot. Yeah, I plan a lot of stuff. I have to put a lot of stuff in there. I'm very passionate about what I do and like my community service and dancing wise. Yeah. So it's like if your heart's not in it, it can get very chaotic. But since I'm very passionate about it, it's not like it's hard to kind of manage everything. But I definitely use my planner, my phone, and like different resources like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, can you tell us a little bit about how you became who you are today? Like, did you always know that, for example, you were going to go to school, what you're going to school for? Did you always know that you wanted to be active in the community with your volunteering? And did you always know that you wanted to be a dancer? Were these things that came up as you were growing, or is it something that you're like, oh, I'm going to do that?
Yeah. So, in Florida, I was not planning on going to Howard. I wanted to go to University of Florida. However, I did not get in, unfortunately. But he works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
So my sister actually went to Howard, and I kind of followed in her footsteps. And I always knew I wanted to dance for the NFL or NBA team. And so I kind of did a couple pro teams down there, kind of ABA level. And Yeah, it was kind of sad. I was like, I'm gonna audition for the team, and it was a great opportunity. I've had a lot of obstacles in my life that not many people know about, but definitely it's all God's timing and God's work. So I'm very thankful.
Amen. So I don't want to get all up in your personal business because I don't like to pry. But is
No
there
worries.
anything that you can share about the obstacles or even how to overcome obstacles? Is there anything that you feel comfortable highlighting?
Mhm. So, back in high school, my dad, he passed away. Um, but like my mom, she's so amazing though. So, I definitely think like leaning onto your family members, leaning onto your friends, people that are like there for you. Getting a therapist is very beneficial as well. So after my dad passed, I went to a therapist and like kind of had like different things like that. So getting a therapist for sure. Um, just really lean. I'm very like grounded in my faith, so definitely leaning on God. Because honestly, at the end of the day, although you have like your family, like your different support systems, at the end of the day, like it's just you and God. So you really need to like really lean on that because at the end of the day, you only have yourself. So yeah.
True that. Very well said. So, what have you um, learned along your like? Is there anything that you can say like for someone not necessarily going through a similar situation, but
Mhm.
because unexpected things happen all the
Right.
time, and as much as we like to prepare and be like, okay, I'm gonna do one, and then I'm gonna do two, and then I'm gonna do three. But then somehow there might be like a 1.5 that you have to get
Right.
through. So have you become more adaptable, I guess, to change with the path that your life has ended up taking because of different things? Or was it something that was always innately within you to like, okay, I don't have control of the situation, but I'm going to lean into my faith and keep going anyway?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of more like I'm very what's a better word to use or a better phrase? I'm kind of like thinking like everything happens for a reason. Although it's not always like you get a no and you like stop, but like everything happens for a reason. So definitely that situation happening, it's taught me to mature more and kind of just explore the world in a way, I guess. I'm the only one in my family from Florida and DC, so it's definitely taught me
Oh,
to, yeah,
okay.
it's taught me to really just like responsibilities, bills, of course, just different things like that. Like, really just staying grounded and really keeping your options open, taking opportunities, and yeah. Yeah. I love your earrings, by the way. Those are so cute.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Sidebar, I'm actually in Maryland, so that's like crazy that you're in
Oh, that's
DC.
really
So
cool.
now you know somebody else. So positive things. So my next question then will be into your volunteerism. So can you talk to us about like, well, first off, why did you decide to work with this organization and the volunteering aspect? And like another thing, was it something that you were like, okay, I'm passionate about the youth, I'm passionate about children, and this is what I want to do? Or is it something that you came up here and you're like, okay, where's a cause that feels good in my spirit, and you decide to go with that?
Absolutely. So I was always active in Florida as far as like volunteering here and there, like with the different organizations or like my studio or different stuff like that, we would volunteer. So I definitely knew I always wanted to be like very active in the community. As far as specifics like youth or the elderly or like anything like that, kind of just kind of more broader, just being an advocate for people that aren't able to advocate for themselves. um Definitely. Yeah, just kind of the whole spectrum, because I know like a lot of different situations people aren't able to just speak out for themselves just because of the situations that they're in. They're probably scared. They feel discouraged. There's so many different things happening. So yeah. And on Saturdays or almost every week, I try to volunteer in Gaithersburg, Maryland. It's made a food center. They help different families that aren't able to, that are less fortunate. The program's called Food for Families. So I kind of volunteer a lot there. And then they have one more station in DC where it's kind of an open market where people can come in, like grab their foods free of charge, of course. They can kind of help with or grab whatever they like. And then I'm the volunteer coordinator for the CSB Foundation. The CSB Foundation is the children's program. It's dedicated to uplifting kids through sustainability, health, and education. It's more stationed in Africa. They need more American volunteers, specifically Sierra Leone and Guinea. So yeah, because they don't have the same essentials that we have access to, like food, water, bathroom, shelter, like just different stuff like that. And so it's like we wake up and we can just like go get water from the fridge or like go get it from the store. Like they don't have access to that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm very passionate, and like I want to advocate for people that aren't able to have access to that stuff, or just anything along the lines where I can just kind of help out. So yeah.
Absolutely. And it's very clear that you're intensely passionate about uplifting people who might not be able to do things for themselves, just because whatever situation or wherever they are in the climate and different things like that.
Yeah.
Where does that passion come from? Is it just like something inside of you, like a calling, like I need to make a difference? Especially in this time when there's a surplus of other kind of things being spread into
Right.
the universe. So is it like a calling, or is it something that as you do it more, you feel like you see the need and so therefore you continue to do the work?
Yes. So it kind of all goes back to my mom. She's really instilled like intentionality in me, and just kind of helping people, just like being nice. Like it costs nothing to be nice, and just the more I do it, I want to make an impact on people. So kind of just like setting my foot out there. And honestly, like it's super corny what I'm about to say, but like,
well, I like
course, like,
corny, so this is the right place.
I want to be famous. Of course, like everybody wants to be famous, but with that, like I want to be famous because of like community service. She made an impact. She helped these people. She did that. Like more of like being a community service influencer or activist, just something that's positive and impactful on the community, and like not just in the DMV area, just like world known or something like that.
Like
So
notoriety,
yeah.
kind of thing. Absolutely. That makes sense. So what what do you plan on doing like after graduation? Because you definitely have quite a resume built up in terms of what you're in school for, and then your other activities on top of the volunteerism. So do you have a plan for like those next steps, or is it like, okay, we're just going with it and allowing what will be to be? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Yes. So that's a great question. That's a really great question. Honestly, I'm kind of just exploring the different options. Life is really short for one. So I just kind of want to kind of dip my feet in what I like more. I definitely want to be in the sports industry for sure. So I definitely think like working with the Commanders and dancing for them, it's really kind of getting my feet wet and in that industry. I definitely want to go to graduate school, but then it's like I'm going to go to PA school or physical therapy school, take the GRE. I don't want to take the MCAT.
Okay.
I don't want to do that. But kind of, I definitely want to go to graduate school and get my master's and get so many masters. And like, I really look up to my mom. She's such an amazing person. She has like 4 degrees. So I definitely want to, yes, yeah. So definitely getting my master's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, kudos to you and shout out to your mom as well.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm wondering then, like, you're doing all of these things already.
Mhm.
Does it ever occur to you, like, wow, like I'm on the commander's dance team, I'm a full-fledged like volunteer, like all of these things that a lot of people are dreaming about, like you're actively actually doing them now. So how do you ever, first off, do you ever sit back and ponder like, okay, and then if you do, how does that feel?
Yes, to answer your question, yes. Like it's honestly, it's still so surreal. Um, I just like I love entertaining the crowd, so like I can't see myself doing anything else. It's really funny actually because we have squad buddies on the team, and my squad buddy is a person that I believe I want to say like a year and a couple months ago, like kind of during COVID, I was looking at their page and I saw her and I was like, oh my God, like I want to be like just like her. Well, not just like her,
Yeah.
but on the team, you know, I want to be myself. But um like it was just crazy like thinking about it because it's like you saw her and then now she's like my friend and like we made a connection and like I love her so much and I admire her. So it's really crazy, honestly. It's like all glory to God. Like I'm so thankful and it's still like so surreal. Um yeah. Like it's really like great to process and like I've just had like my rookie season went by like literally like that. So going into the second season is really just it's amazing and like I'm so grateful. I'm definitely ready to get back on the sidelines and cheer on the fans and just everybody and it's just it's still surreal. Like every day like walking into the FedEx field is like oh my like I'm actually here. But yeah.
Absolutely. So, can you tell us how discovering, like, oh my gosh, I'm on the team. Like, what was your mind thinking? Like, who's the first person you called? Like, I'm betting I probably know from this interview, but I gotta ask, like, what was that moment like?
Yeah. So I think not think I know. Of course I was like so happy. I was genuinely very happy. In my mind, like I was like I have to get it. Like you know, like you have
Yeah.
like when you want something really bad, it's like there's just no other option, you know? Um yeah, I was just very excited. It was a 3-day process, I believe, if I remember correctly. It was last year around like April, May, because we had our team meeting May 10th. So I'm just like going over the dates in my head. It was through the process, and so we had to. There was prep clinics as well. I went to maybe like 1 or 2 prep clinics. It was so great. And hi Steph. um, and yeah. Sorry, I'm like all
No,
over
no,
the
you
place.
you're
But
fine.
I'm just like thinking about it in my head. So we had the prep clinics, then we came to auditions. The coaches, everyone was super nice. Shout out to Jade and Christy, the coaches of Commanders, and Petra Pope, our creative director. She's so amazing, so amazing. The whole staff. So yes, when they called my number, I was just like, I started crying. I did start crying. I'm a very sensitive person as well, but like I'm very like warm-hearted and um yeah. I called my mom and actually now that I think about it, I don't even know if she answered, but my mom and my sister like they're like this and like both of my sisters. I have 2 older sisters. I'm the youngest of 3. And so I called my sister and they were together, of course. And I was like, I made it. Like I made it. I was so happy. And then yeah.
Oh, yay. Okay. She said she's that girl. Clearly come through. So
Yes. Hey
we are
mom.
we are coming up. No, you're fine. A bit on the tail end. So if there's anything that you wanted to discuss, or if there's any aspect of the volunteerism that you wanted to further advocate and like put that point across, this is the time to do so. And then I'll circulate those questions. The next ones based on what you're saying. So if there's anything that you wanted to highlight, you can do it. But if not, I do have some other questions, but just to make sure that we get it all good.
You can ask your questions, for sure. I actually have a question for you.
Yeah, that is part of it. So go ahead.
So what made you want to start doing these interviews with different people, and like what led you to do them?
Yes, great question. And before I get to mine, signature round of applause for the awesome energy. Just great talking to you. So I started it because, long story short, I was looking for something new to do, and I happened to be like just going through different ideas. And originally, it started out as a show where we were doing something together and then talking. So it was a way, because everyone was stuck in the house. Like, I started it in 2020 of March, like right when the pandemic started.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, we can't leave, but maybe we can like do a spa day and answer questions and like, or talk and stuff. So it started out like that. And then I would like ask the guests, like, okay, you want to come on and talk? And I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? And they're like, I don't know. Like, I don't have an activity. And it got to be like the conversations were just so interesting. So I was like, okay, like X on the activity. We're just going to interview. And the interviews, it was a, you know how things are. It's like this thing, then it adds up. But to bring it all together, I have a lot of questions. And I'm also an entrepreneur. I like to learn. I'm an artist. I also be dancing too, though. So, you know what I'm saying? But, and no one around me in my direct circle that I can see is like, everyone is doing something, but not necessarily what I want to do and how I want to do it. So I'm like, I need a mentor. Okay, if I just send people messages, they're probably not going to just like eat with me on Zoom for an hour. Let me ask you a bunch of questions about how you got to where you are, and then I can learn. So I was like, but they might be willing to do it if I set it up as an interview. So then I can learn and other people can learn. So it really was a selfish way for me to learn. But no. It's just, I think it's a good way to meet new people, make connections, and then also I do genuinely have questions about different industries. What better way than asking people who are actively participating? So that's pretty much how it happened.
That's amazing. I love that.
Thank you. Do you have any other questions? Because you are more than welcome to ask.
Not any currently right now, but I'm sure they'll pop up as we go on.
Fair enough. And I'm not gonna hold you too long because I know it's
no. You're good. You're good. I'm just chilling.
Oh, cool. So are we. So my next question then would be, because you're not like just starting out in your journey, obviously, because you're like a junior and stuff, but at the same time, it's kind of like you're moving quickly already. So what inspired you? I'm sure it's going to be something with mom, but I love the stories. So what really though inspired you to like, I'm going to live fully, I'm going to take full advantage of the time that I have and like push and go? Like, what started you on that, and then what keeps you going even to this day?
Great question. For starters, let's see. I think it was the pandemic for sure. It was definitely the pandemic. Spending time with your family and just realizing how short life is. So it's so hard to just, you have to do it. You want to do everything, but life is just so short. You can't do everything. You know what I'm saying? So definitely the pandemic for sure. Moving out to getting into Howard for starters, actually. First and foremost, I'm so thankful to getting into Howard, because if it wasn't for Howard, I wouldn't have done the Commanders. I wouldn't have met so many friends that I have today. And yeah, the pandemic for one, definitely the pandemic and getting into Howard. And what keeps me going is kind of like all of my friends and like seeing their aspirations, seeing their goals, seeing them just fighting for everything, and just ultimately the people that you surround yourself with is going to be the end result. And I'm a very solution based person. So getting to the next step and getting to the next level and having people that are surrounding you that are pushing you to the next level and vice versa. So yeah.
Absolutely. And it's interesting that you said the pandemic, because what I've noticed, especially in doing these interviews and just seeing my surroundings, it's either, it seems like the pandemic has done one of two things. Either really made people live their best life and like, because life is short and
Right.
go for it,
Right.
or it's done completely the opposite. And, because there's all these things happening and so many distractions going on. So, how are you able to continue like on the path of like, okay, there's this happening, especially in DC. There's a lot going on in DC. So, you're still able to like, okay, I'm aware of this, but I'm still over here. So what is that like? How are you doing that? Because I know some people that are going to watch this later and watching it now, they might be on this side.
Right, right, absolutely. So just kind of going back, I know it can sound very tedious and repetitive, but life is so short and we've lived with so many different diseases, so many different things that have happened in this world, and we're still dealing with stuff that's happening in this world to this day. So it's just like keep going. Like we still have to live with that, but despite that we're living with that, we still have to push forward and elevate ourselves because there are other people that are elevating themselves as well, and we don't want this downfall to be our downfall, if that makes sense. So yeah, just keep elevating and keep pushing yourself, because in spite of everything that's happening, like we can still build your community and build yourself, build your brand, and just elevate yourself, because it's time's still moving. Stop, time is still moving. So yeah, just because of pandemic or anything like that, we just have to keep going regardless of the things that are happening around us, because regardless if we decide to stop, time is going to keep moving, and that's just time wasted.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, my question and kind of relation to that is, with giving back in terms of volunteering, do you feel like that is also helping um, your mental in these kind of like interesting times? Because one thing that a lot of people say, and I'm just interested in hearing your perspective, is when you give back, you're really giving to yourself at the same time. So, does your volunteerism in some way, does it nourish you as well as the others that you're serving?
Yes, absolutely. Kind of, I guess the saying goes, giving is getting, or something like that. But it is very rewarding, helping other people, because it's almost as if you're helping yourself, like you said. Like it's good for the soul. Definitely mental is very important, like your mental health. I'm very passionate about that as well. Yeah. I'm kind of speechless about it, because it's very rewarding just giving back to your community. Although I didn't grow up here, I felt like I've established myself here. So just helping the community really, all my friends at Howard and just like the surrounding areas of people that I've met, it's very rewarding. So yeah, that's all I could really say about it. It's so rewarding, and it's very heartfelt to just like see you making an impact regardless if you're from there or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just have to give you another signature round of applause just for, you have such a light, infectious energy, just like real, I don't want to say homey, because that's not the word I'm looking for at all.
Thank you.
Real glowing, just like living. And I think that that's so important, especially like you're still in school right now and you're already passionate about making an impact and you're actively doing what you're passionate about too, which I think can be a bit of a difference. It's one thing to have a passion, it's another thing to be acting on your passion. So I just give you a kudos round of applause. And I'm so excited to see what else is coming in your life. And I'm sending you so much prosperity, so much abundance, and so many blessings. We are at the end because I just try to keep it on schedule. But
You're good. You're good.
my last question is definitely a cliche. We could say even hashtag corny question, but I always
It's fine. It's fine.
if there's anything or one piece of advice that you wish that you would have known earlier on in your journey or back when you were younger or when you were in maybe a darker space mentally, whatever it is there any one piece of advice that you wish you would have known or any one thing that would have helped you have a little bit more of a smoother transition?
Very good question. I'm thinking on it. I want to say, once again, corny, but
Corn is the best here.
right.
Okay.
I just want to say, like, always do your best. Like, because everything that we do, like, is very meticulous, very strategic. Like, when you get a job or go for an interview, or you're talking to a new guy or you're talking to a new girl, like, hoping for that relationship to work out and have a future with them. Like, we think about everything, but it's more of just like always do your best. Like, just life is so short. And there's also a quote that my 8th grade science teacher told me. It's good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. So, yeah. And don't take things personal either. Um, I'm still learning that myself. So just not taking anything personal. Because honestly, people are in their own world. You could be thinking about something and they're not even worried about that. So not taking things personal. Of course there are certain things where you're like, oh, like that was clearly at me, but be the bigger person. Like, don't even worry about them, because you being the bigger person kind of not puts them down, but it makes them look silly. Like, life is so short. Like, just be the bigger person. Don't take things personal. Get your grind. Do what's best for you, because at the end of the day, the other person's going to be doing the best for themselves. So, yeah.
Well, all right. And, one quick point that I was like, it brought me back when the quote that you said your 8th grade teacher told you. We used to say that before our cheer competitions back in high school.
Really?
Like right before we would get on stage, like we had this thing, like the football players would do something like when they were about to get on the field, so we kind of stole it. And then we would do that too. So when you said that, I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy. But
That is crazy.
that was so cool. All right.
That's like a full circle moment. Yeah.
Like, wow, okay. Well, is there anything that you'd like to leave us off with? Anything now that you're thinking like, oh, I did mean to say that, I didn't say that. Any shout outs you want to give? Anything you want to do? Like, it's all on you.
Absolutely. Oh, all on me. Okay. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you letting me to share my story with the world and with your platform and what you preach about. Thank you so much. I guess kind of shout out, just, I don't know, because some people how if you don't shout my name, they're like, oh,
right. Like,
right.
Everybody's included.
But shout out to my family, my mother, and my 2 older sisters, and just like my intermediate family, my mom's husband, his kids, yeah, and my best friends, Kyla, that's in California, living it up, and my best friends that I've had here, Deja, Candace, and Sydney. They're the bestest. I don't even know if that's a word. But yes. But just thank you so much for having me. I really, really do appreciate it, and hope to work with you in the future and do more interviews and whatever the case may be. But yes, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, well, thank you so much for joining. Honestly, it was such a pleasure. If you ever want to come back, just like send me a message. Like it's I don't know what people are saying now because I kind of live under a rock, but whatever they're saying, like it's that thing. And but you can definitely always come back. Assuming everything works properly, this will be available immediately on Instagram.
Okay.
So assuming all the stars aligned. And then at some point, I'm like way behind, but at some point I'll also get it up on YouTube. But at least you'll be able to watch it immediately after. And like I said, if you ever want to come back, let me know. I'm also in Maryland, so you have a new buddy out here. So if you,
Yes.
you're like, oh my gosh, I need like just let me know, whatever. And yeah, this has been such a pleasure. I am so excited to see what happens next for you.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Likewise.
I am sending you so much positivity, so much abundance because you're already doing amazing things. So I am like, I'm going to be like, okay, what's she doing next? Because I know it's going to be good. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you again another time.
Yes, you as well. Have a great rest of your night.
Thank you. You too. Alrighty, that was an amazing interview. Wow, great energy, great vibes, and a whole lot of awesome and amazing wisdom. Like she mentioned, just be yourself. You never know what trying new things can lead to, and you never know what obstacles could potentially lead to a blessing down the line. So I'll see you guys next Wednesday. I am